guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Kenny and I'm a K-pop content creator that's K-pop Content Creations. And today I am going to do a Girls Planet 999 ranking, and I'm really excited about that, but I'm not going to show my face in this video. On the simple fact is I'm tired, I really don't feel like showing my face, and I just want to show the tiers in the ranking and talk about the rankings and the tiers itself, and I feel like it'll just be easier this way. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will definitely show my face next time. So here are the tiers of each girl that I'm going to rank, and at the bottom you can see that I have each picture of the girl, so you can know which one that I'm going to rank and start off with, and it's in numerical order of what I'm going to talk about each girl. And I have 5 tiers. I have the debut now tier, the training to debut tier, the training tier, and I have on the bottom row I have the barely passed auditions tier, and I have the comeback next year tier. So I have these tiers because I'm gonna rank each performance as if I was like a judge, but not like a harsh judge. But I just want to, in that way, I feel like it'll be kind of fun, and it'll be a little bit more lighthearted than any other tier. So I feel like it'll be good since it's an audition and it's an evaluation round to do it in that kind of way. So basically, it's just self-explanatory of each tier. Like debut now tier, I feel like their performance, they can debut right now. The tier training to debut, I feel like they are close to debuting, but they need a little bit more work. Training, they're just plain old trainees that's just training and working on their skills, and they need a little bit more help. Barely passing auditions, I feel like they probably had something going for them, but they barely had the basics, but they slid through in the cracks of passing auditions. And basically a comeback now tier is just saying you're not quite there yet to be accepted into a company, but I feel like you should work on at least getting the basics or finding your star potential or whatever the case may be for each tier and each audition and each thing. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I kind of want to rank it like that. So first we're going to start off with the K group Cotton Candy, and they did I Can't Stop Me by Twice. So what I thought about this performance, basically the singing was stable for about 80% of the time, which is good considering this dance has a lot of choreo and it's not a difficult, it is a difficult choreo. And it was only one girl that I'm guessing that was the main vocal. She ran out of breath for the climax right at the end. So the dancing was in a nice unison for the main part. I just wish that it was a tad bit more fluid in some of the moves, like the hip part of the chorus, and some of the arm movements, and also in some of the body weights. But overall, I would rank them right in the middle. In the training tier, they could be really close to training to debut if they just fix some minor details that they be on their way. So next we're going to talk about the J group Marshmallow, and they did 1,000 Times Summer Wish. So let me reiterate before I even start this, I am a dancer, not a singer. So please don't kill me for the technical terms that I do not know, but I'm just going to still give my opinion on the singing. So on that part, the singing was off-key majority of the performance, but they did have a couple cute notes here and there that sounded a little bit stable. And to me, I wouldn't think that the song would be that hard to sing, especially considering that the choreo was not that hard. And speaking on that, at least they were in sync with each other in the beginning, but during the middle to the end, if you really paid attention, one was moving a little faster than the other. Then on that, it was not that drastic. That's just me being picky. But on a good side, they had nice facial expressions, and they never lost their energy even if they messed up. I was going to say at first I'd put them in barely past auditions, but I feel like they have the basics down pat. So if they worked hard enough, they'd get better at their craft. So I definitely have to put them in the training tier. So now we have the first soloist from C Group, Cho Eugen. So first, let me start off and say I'm going to be rating soloists less critical because one, they're by themselves, so they don't have the support to lean on a member to help carry them through the whole stage, which is obviously harder. And two, this is seeing who can make it in a group, not a soloist. So with that being said, I honestly loved her performance. I know once I saw her on screen, she was going to be one of my faves anyway. I just knew she was going to be a bomb vocalist. I absolutely love her tone of voice, but with that being said, I don't know if she should have chose a different song that wasn't as high and stayed in her range or what, but it was a couple times she was off key. But again, she's doing this solo and dance at the same time the whole time. And as far as for the choreo, it wasn't really choreo in my eyes, but a couple parts. But most of the time, she looked like she was just feeling the music and grooving, which is not a bad thing, though. Which, especially with her being by herself, unless she has complete breath control to sing and dance a full choreo. But at the same time, she was smart on that part. As in ranking, I definitely put her in the training to debut tier, just because she needs to fix like one or two kinks, and she'd be on her way to being a group or solo in my eyes. So next we have from J Group Witches, and they did La Ta Ta by G Idol. So first off, I this group here was kind of hard to rank on one simple fact is that their stage presence was not that good. So like, who am I to tell anybody that they don't want to be somewhere that they probably fought hard to be at, but they really didn't seem like they wanted to be there? Their singing was mediocre, but they can train to get better at that. Their dancing was alright, but most parts were choppy, not fully executed, and I laughed when I saw a couple times when one person would look at the other to see what was the next move, I guess, but that can be trained on too. But the thing that can't really be trained, but you have to kind of dig deep to do, is the star quality, the stage presence. That, like some of you said, the aura that you give off just by standing there, and I don't feel any of that from this performance, and for that reason, I've had to put them in the comeback next year tier. Next is from K Group and Electric Shock, and they did Wonder Man by 101 or IOI, whichever way you want to say it. This group to me is one of the groups that looks like a standardized K-pop group in the making. When I say that, I mean that for the most part, the vocals are stable besides some indie notes and the ad-libs. I feel like it might have been better if they had a different person do the high notes and ending ad-libs. The dancing was pretty standard requirements for a K-pop group. Nobody looked like they were lacking in the department, and the facials were pretty good. This group would have been so close to train to debut, but they have to fix on a couple kinks, and I think they'd be there. But for right now, I put them in the training tier. Next is from the J-pop group, and they're called Sparkling Girls, and they did Boogie Up. So, if I said that the last group was a standardized group and the making, this group is just a standardized group already. I know that the girl May has already debuted, but I'm not sure about everyone else in the group. But overall, they already seem like a debuted group together. The singing was very much on par, besides a couple notes. A little off on the climax of the song, but that's just me being picky. Everything else is pretty much perfect. The dancing to the visuals to the facials to the presence, everything. I would put this group in the training to debut because I'd give them like a good 3 to 6 months and they'd be completely prepared to debut. Next is from the K group, and is Miss Cho Eugen, and she did Bubble Pop by Hyena. And nobody should be surprised of where I rank her because I think everybody will rank her this, and this is not me being biased. But before I say where I put her, I want to give my critiques. I personally always thought that she best suit a more cuter concept in CLC, as she kind of talked about it in the show. So I'm happy she did that because she played to her strengths. She knew when to sing, when not to sing, when to catch her breath. She danced just enough to show a good stage and not too much to overwhelm herself. And she slayed with the cute expressions and energy. She filled up the stage all by herself. Of course, I ranked her as top tier because even though she might not be perfect, she's perfect enough to go solo in my eyes or be in a group, as she is already doing it. Next, we have from K Group, Kenny.young, and they did Bounce Back by Little Mix. Off rip, I would feel like this was so unfair of these two to be in a group together if this round was competing against the others, because these two are a couple of the best singers in this show, and they're also really good dancers. They had amazing presence and energy on the stage. You can feel it. If I had to be picky, I'd say a couple of the moves looked like they were putting a little too much power in them, but that's just me being picky. But overall, I definitely will put this group and debut now tier. I don't know why they're still trying these. Honestly, it just really boggles my mind. Next, we have from C Group and their group Dreaming Magic Girl. They did Maria by Hawassa. This group, I feel like, with the lack and one thing, they make up in for another. What I mean by that is vocally wise, they aren't that completely stable in, but they're dancing a lot, so they could be the problem. But they both have nice tones, especially the one in the jacket. But they make it not so stable voices is their dancing and stage presence. They're definitely in the top tier dancing wise. They just need a little bit more help vocally, or they might be good vocally, just not good breath control. I'm not sure. I would put them in debut now tier, but I want them to get better vocally, so I place them at the training to debut tier, give them a couple months, and they'd be there. Next, we have from K Group, Sim Sung Un, and she did Paradise Lost Game. So, as a solo performer, she was definitely my favorite to watch over and over again. Her voice is so stable, even with her doing all the dancing. But I will admit, I don't know if it's her tone or what, but some of the ending notes sounded a little nasally or pitchy. I can't tell, but that's just a preference thing for me. Her dancing was like butter gliding on toast. She was so smooth and entrancing the whole time. I love the outfit she chose because black helps show your lines more clear when you're dancing, and I definitely saw those lines. I know she's in the group Bandit, and I have a couple of their songs, but I don't know them individually, but she might become my bias. I'd have to definitely rank her as debut now because she definitely does not need any training or anything but a new comeback song. That is all. Next, we have from Sigru, Suru Q, and she did Snapping by Changa. This girl right here was pretty much perfection, honestly. So I'm not going to say too much about her. Same as Eugen, she knew when to stop singing to catch her breath at appropriate times. She knew when to give energy, when not to overdo it, and she just commanded the stage like she already been doing for a while. No doubt, I'm putting her in the debut now tier, and if she don't become part of the group, I definitely see her as a soloist just like Changa. Next is K Group Fireworks, and they did Wild Thing by Simbi, Changa, Suji, and Soyeon. This group is definitely one, if not my favorite group performance of this round. Like, I literally have nothing bad to say about them individually or as a whole. They were all really stable vocally, rap was really clear, the dancing was really nice and clean, and energy and facials were amazing. Like, honestly, this was probably the most perfect performance out of this whole round. Side note, my favorite part is when they sung the chorus together. It blended and sounded so pretty like the actual song. I'm obviously putting them in the debut tier, no brainer. So next is K Group 18 Girls, and they did Mr. Chu A Pink. Okay, so this group right here was very blah. Like, I don't really feel anything from these girls when they perform besides probably one. But overall, as a group, it was so subpar. Like, it's pretty much like the Latata group. I didn't feel the star potential. Their vocals and dance and facials can be worked on. But like I said, you have to kind of be born with it or somehow find it in yourself. It could be one of those two things. They were really nervous and the nerves got the best of them. Or since they're adorable girls, they probably felt like they didn't have to try as hard just because it was an adorable song. Either way, I'm not sure, but I'd rank them at barely past auditions on the simple fact I think they were nervous and they kind of shut down. I know what that feels like. It's really not a good feeling. Next, we have from J Group Joker, and they did Go Go Baby by Mamamoo. Now, I don't know why, but this performance, from my eyes, always had a hard time trying to keep track with all of them. But overall, this group was very good and stable. Other than that, it was a couple slip-ups of the main vocal at the climax of the song. Close to the end, it was pretty much perfect from the dance to the vocals to the expressions and great energy. I put this group at debut now tier. I think they're definitely ready. Next is the C Group, Strong Girls, and they did Helicopter by CLC. This group was kind of tricky to decide where to put them because I felt half could debut now, and the other half could use a bit more training before debut. First off, with vocals, nobody was bad, but on some parts, majority of them didn't sound fully stable or ran out of breath on top of them dancing. The only one that sounded really stable was the leader with the high pony. I forgot her name, but the rapper of the group. But on that note, with her, it was a couple parts where she just exploded with energy, and with others, more were calm, and that's clearly not good because it's supposed to be in unison. I would rank this group as trans to debut just so, if not, somebody could watch them and tell them, okay, give lots of energy here, but milk it a little bit there, and vice versa, and a clean up on their vocals and help with their breath control. But overall, everything else was good. Next was C Group Youngest, and they did Roly Poly by Tiara. Okay, so please do not hurt me for what I'm about to say, but I actually like this performance. I don't know why in the show it made it seem like they were just so bad when in my opinion, it was way worse. Did they mess up some dance steps? Yes. Did they sing off key a couple times? Yeah. But. They had heart, they had spunk, they had charisma, they had what I wanted the Latata and Mr. Chu group to at least have. Everything that this group don't have, they can work on. They're not bad dancers. They don't sound horrible singing. Just got to stay on key. I'm definitely ranking this group with training because I feel like they would pass the auditions with their personality, but now it's crunch time to build up their skills as a singer and a dancer. Next is from C Group S2, and they sung Dolphin. Y'all about to hate me again, but I do not care. This is exactly what the Roly Poly team could be if they work on their craft and get better at it. The vocals in this performance were stable for the most part, and besides the mistake the one girl in the pink made, I feel like it was just a slip up, not determining the factor of her actual talent. And I really liked the choreo. It was so cute and milky. Also, the charisma and energy was amazing. I loved it. I'm definitely putting them in training to debut. I think they need to clean up a little, but I feel like they're really good to go. Okay, so next is from C Group, Shining Girl, and they did Twinkle by TTS. I know I said that one performance was my favorite group number, but this is a close second on the pure confidence that these girls had in this song. No matter how many times they slipped up and did, or shall I say, attempted that growl thing they kept going for, it was nothing that can beat that. I don't know what it is with the C girls, but they got that it factor to prevail them off of their sheer confidence. And how many times I laughed at that performance, it goes in debut now. Okay, I'm kidding. Honestly, I put it in training tier because they have good tones. They just need to learn how to use it properly. Next is C Group Palette Girls, and they did Wannabe by ITZY. Okay, so at this point, I'm convinced the Seagulls have an unlimited supply of energy and confidence because no matter where they fall short at, they bring it back with those two things. The singing was off majority of the performance. They were running out of breath because ITZY probably has the toughest girl group choreo in 4th gen, and they still chose it. I really wish they were as trained, as confident, and energized as they are, but I'll put this in a training tier. So next is C Group Twins, and they did. So you think since they were twins, they'd be so much in sync, but no. And that's so ironic and funny to me. But the energy was up there, and they were very entertaining girls. I'm not sure how to categorize them because on one hand they have a lot of energy and personality, but I don't know if they're going to get any better on the show. So I just have to rank them as comeback next year. Next is from K Group Monster Baby, and they did Crazy by 4 Minute. These girls were so adorable yet fierce at the same time. Like, just looking at them, I knew they weren't going to disappoint. Some parts of the vocals weren't fully stable, but they were moving and moving. And some parts of the dance, they weren't fully in unison, but you could barely tell unless you really looked hard at them. Overall, I rank them as training because I think they need at least a year or two and they'd be really solid as a group. Next is from C Group Luxury Proportion Girl, and they did Violeta by Izwan. This group was definitely one of the most aesthetically pleasing girls. Like, they all looked like models trying to be idols, but seriously, they really had good expressions and energy. But I felt like sometimes the moves and song and stuff was overpowering them at times, where they looked like they either had to rush a dance move or the song got a little too high for their comfort level. I rather put the performance at training because I'm sure they can improve on that. Next is from K Group Shooting Star, and they did Pop Stars by K/DA. These girls already look like a group in this performance. This song is very high energy and does not slow down at all. Despite it being some vocal instability during the performance, it's very understandable because I know I couldn't do it. The dance was very clean, very energetic when it needed to be, very smooth when it needed to be. With that being said, I ranked it as training to debut just because I want the girls to straighten up their voice and breath control just a little bit more. Next is from J Group, the group Burn Crush, and it did Boom Ba Ya by Blackpink. This group, I feel like, is the standard you'd want your group to be at if you're not fully ready to debut a group, but you're really close to it. Like, the vocals are nice, dancing is mostly clean and in unison, but something about the group does not feel quite there just yet. That's how I feel about this performance, and I rank it as training to debut. Next is J Group Energy Youngest, and they did Nonstop by OM My Girl. So this performance kind of confused me. I'm not gonna lie. I say that because in the beginning I was sure they was gonna kill it, but then later it got into the performance. It felt like it was going downhill. I don't know if it was because I felt like the energy was going down or what, but it threw me completely off. Their vocals, when it went into head voice, that's when it messed up vocally. And I guess when the dance got kind of faster, I can say it kind of tripped them up a little bit. Overall, I rank it as training because it wasn't horrible at all. It just wasn't good either. So it's like right in the middle. Next is from J Group Spring Girls, and they did Hug You. So for the most part, this performance was a good 50-50 for me. The group as a whole, vocally were very unstable, but dancing-wise, for the most part, they were in sync. And the choreo didn't look easy with all the tutting and hand movements. It's just hard doing all of that at the same time, so I commend them for doing that. But for an idol group, you have to perform, not just dance. So I rank them as a training tier right in the middle. Next is from J Group Yamauchi Moana, and she did Black. So, I don't want to be mean saying this, but I'm kind of confused how she got the third spot. I personally feel like it could have been given to a couple other people than her. I know I said I was treating solos with more ease because they're by themselves, but I gotta call a spade a spade. And that ain't third place talent to me. The performance was very awkward to me, like the way she moved had energy, yes, but it was still awkward. Her voice was not very stable in my eyes or to my ears. I don't know how she's gonna rank in other people's view, but to me, she be still in training. Like I want her to stretch more, to work on being more fluid in her moves, and really handle her breath control and her voice. Next was from J Group, December Girl, and they did Dumpty Dumpty by G Idol. This performance was so good. I could really see them being a duo, and that being their debut song. Honestly, it just fit them so well. I really liked the girl in the orangest tone. It actually kind of reminded me of Uki, how deep it was. Both of their vocals were pretty stable, jumping around so much, and the dancing was very nice and clean. I rank this as training to debut because I think they need a bit more speeding up, and they'd be perfect to debut. Next was K Group Hot Sauce, and they did Kick It. I feel like I'm going to repeat myself, so I'm not going to. The same way I felt about the last ranking, I feel like they're pretty much in the same boat, but they're just ready to go. Nothing bad was about this performance at all. If I want to be picky, the vocal, her part, when she actually started singing her verse, not the chorus, it sounded a tad bit weak, but they could have been just from nerves. I'd rank this group as debut now. Next is from K Group, and they're cuties. And they did Blackpink Aspa. It's so funny that I feel the same way about the last couple of rankings as this one. Everything was good from vocals to dance to energy and expression. But just like the Dumpty Dumpty group, they feel like they need something else before they debut officially. So I'd rank them as training to debut. Next is from J Group Crystal Girls, and they did Fancy by Twice. I was conflicted with this group's performance on the simple fact that it wasn't consistent enough for me. Like, dancing and energy was the best out of the performance, but when it came to vocals, it lost me. Like, some parts it sounded good, and then other times it didn't. If it wasn't for that, I would put it at training to debut, but I think they need to completely stable their vocals and be consistent, and I rank them as train. So last but definitely not least is from C Girl Visual Killer, and they did Rumor by PD48. I remember watching this for the first time and thinking, oh, these girls are going to kill it. You know, they're already looking like an established group and everything, but no, they disappointed me. Not saying that they were horrible, but not one person could keep their note the entire line, and when it was stable, it was only the rapping parts. And the energy, they had that, and they had the charisma, but the dancing, it felt like they were cutting certain moves short, so you couldn't really appreciate the choreography. Overall, I think if they train really hard, that they'd be there because I feel like they're already halfway there. So, overall, this is my ranking list for the first evaluation round of Girls Planet 999. If you guys don't agree with me, comment down below. If you guys do agree with me, comment down below. And if you guys feel like I was, I guess, too harsh or not too harsh on certain groups, let me know because I am open to all criticisms as long as it's not hate. And again, this is just my opinion. I am not like a judge on there. Obviously, I'm not a quote-unquote master, anything like that. This is just my opinion of every ranking of the performance. I'm sorry it took longer than usual because they're already on the second round. And yes, I will be ranking those rounds as well. Let me know if you think I should rank it like this or rank it a different kind of way or anything like that. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell notification down below if you want to see more of this face. I'm not sure if I'm going to show my face on the next one because this was a lot of editing and I've never did a ranking video like this ever before, so this was a lot. So sorry if it seemed a little choppy, sorry if it seemed all over the place, or it seemed a little boring in certain parts. I'm sorry for that, but I'm still trying to get used to this. I'm really happy that Angelina had an actual like system where you could look at it because literally it made it so much more easier to just look at her system, and she put a link down below to show everybody how to do it. So if you guys want to do it, just look at her video and you can see how to make one of these yourself. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.